In the Bud Light Open finals, we have advanced to the semifinal match. First two games, Scott Devers, 217 to Pete Weber's 213. He had 7 strikes. Then he met Joe Firpo. Firpo winning with 6 strikes, 211 to 204. The semifinal match coming up, as you see our stepladder approach. And a name that we'd like to see out on the lanes a little more often, great champion with Bo and me, Marshall Holman.
Marshall, welcome to the announce booth. 16th place finish this week, and before we go into this last game, a quick critique on what you see on the championship pair.
Well, the pair looks kind of tough right now, Bo. It looks like the right-hand lane, if you cut a little bit short, it's going to hook right through the nose, but they've got to make a good, crisp shot. I look for Dave and Joe to give us a good match, though.
All right.
I want to point out that much of the success of the PBA is because of you, young man. And next week, we go to the PBA National Championship, and that's the one Marshall needs to be a Triple Crown winner. And then 2 weeks from today, the True Value Open in Peoria, Illinois.
The Bud Light Open, 160-man field. Pretty good scores to make the top 24. 217 average. Here's some of the other finishers. Dave Arnold, Randy Peterson getting his game back together and looks sharp. Mike Miller, the power player, 2 fingers. George Brennan III, one of my favorite guys. Berardi making a somewhat cameo appearance now. Doug Kent having another good week. Merrill up there. Mike Shady, I like his game. Ryan Schaefer had a 300 this week. Ken Johnson, the power player, in 15th. There's the Bowling's all-time leading money winner, Holman. Lawrence there in a good position. Dave DeAntremont. Moser, a proud father of a new baby. Andrew David Moser, 10 pounds born this week. Pensac, Curtis Odom. Ted Gladke, John Force, the power player, in 23rd place. And rounding out the top 24, Moran Jr., the lefty, $1,500, Chris.
There's a lot of spirit in that wonderful state of Oregon. And, of course, Marshall Holman plugs it as much as anybody, and rightfully so. And Dave Husted, also from that state. Marshall, you travel together.
Yeah, Dave and I are going to be driving later on today to Toledo, and Dave's a good friend. And I think if there's a better shot maker on this tour, I don't know who he is. I think Dave is just a great bowler, and I wish him well.
A couple interesting things happened as they were finishing up their practice ball. David Husted, 4 practice balls. Joe Firpo has no more since he's already won a match. Husted had the ball get hit by the machine. It returned all the way back up the lane. He's now ready for the first frame.
7-time PBA champion, his first title, recall it vividly, the U.S. Open in Houston in 1982.
Firpo has had trouble winning any matches in the championship round. He now has his 3rd victory in his young career. Let's see if he loosens up against Houston and starts throwing some big strikes.
And the man looking for that first singles title is 2 games away. Sitting on the bubble bow is Robert Lawrence, and should Firpo or Duke win, Robert would be out for the year.
He would have to requalify for the Firestone, and these next 5 weeks are the most important weeks. Following this week, we have 3 major championships coming up. We have the PBA National starting Sunday right after the players leave here in Toledo. Then we have the U.S. Open in Indianapolis, and of course the Firestone on April 27th. Now Firpo, 2nd frame.
One, 2, 4.
Not much you can say about that. Marshall Holman just kind of missed the building.
Yeah, it looks like the right lane hooks a little bit more than the left from what I can see, and Joe just made a little bit of a mistake. He's got a makeable spare and needs to convert.
Marshall, 2 schools of thoughts on the urethane lanes. Go down the left side for the 1, 2, 4, or play it off your strike ball.
I always try and play it off my strike ball. It seems a little more comfortable for me, and that's what Joe's doing. And he makes the spare.
David Husted, the full grip, fingers inserted down to the first knuckle, tucks that pinky, spreads the index finger, going for a double.
Dave Husted on 5 of our telecasts last year. He was 2nd in Rochester, also at the Japan Cup, 2nd in Greater Hartford, 4th in Green Bay, and 4th at AC Delco.
Ideal style, good high backswing for momentum, a free swing right next to that left ankle. You can see he's playing a 3rd arrow, and he just sucks that 10-pin right out. Good leverage, good angle, and of course Husted off to an early 10-point lead. Well, Marshall, how was the carry all week long? A solid 10 here for David Husted.
It was very good at times. You know, I bowled next to David throughout the whole week in the match play. Now, there's a great shot, and the 6 wraps around the 10, and Dave's carry was very good early in the day, and later on it went awry. He left a lot of solid 10s last night. I thought he bowled great and just hung in there.
That's interesting. Most of the players bowled real well at night and struggled in the morning. David, just the opposite.
David checking out the surface on the approach. Mr. Smoothie. What a temperament.
Here's a young man, Joe Firpo, started bowling at the age of 8. He bowled 3 years on his high school team and has now been on the tour for 6 years.
Third frame for Joe, and if you just joined us, he defeated Scott Devers to 11-204, and Devers over Pete Weber 217-213. And the winner of this semifinal game will meet Norm Duke.
All right, we'll take a look at where Joe Firpo is playing the lane. He's starting over here in the center, and he's going to slide over in this area, and then he's going to play a pretty good size hook between the 3rd and 4th arrows.
4, 6, 7.
Now he's got some major problems, and really all he can do here is try to get the ball over in the 4-7 zone and just try to knock these 2 pins out. If he gets lucky, he'll have one bounce out of the pin area and take out the 6. Especially with a strike up, you got to get the wood.
All right, we're in our semifinal game. 21-pin lead by Dave Husted over Joe Firpo. More after this. Looking at Joe Firpo, he's going against Dave Husted. While we're away, Husted struck in the 4th, marked with a spare in the 5th, has a 21-pin lead over Joe. Joe now in the 5th frame.
That was a great shot by Joe. You know, while we were away, Dave Husted made 2 quality shots, and he's the kind of player that makes those good shots, and Joe definitely needs to get some strikes going to catch him.
Okay, Bo.
Thank you, Chris Shackle, our tournament leader by almost 500 pins. Norm Duke, nobody can head you off in this tournament. What mistakes do you have to guard against so you don't beat yourself?
I haven't made any mistakes this week. I'm not guarding against any of that. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play good. And them guys are going to have to come to me today.
Sounds like a winner. He's still got to back it up. We'll know in 15 minutes. Back to you.
Trying for that double, leaving a 6-pin on the left lane, Marshall.
Yeah, he was a little short on that delivery. I'll tell you what, Norm Duke is looking pretty darn confident, but it's going to be a tough match for him.
Positive thinking.
That's a good way to be. You know, you don't want to throw out any negative kind of thoughts. You want to be very, very aggressive.
Firpo all over this left-hand lane, Chris. He's missed the head pin, bent in the nose, now crossed over. Confusion.
Back to Dave Husted now. Spare up, shooting in the 6th frame. 21-pin lead. Gleaming lanes here at Yorktown. Powerful. We asked Dave Husted who has impacted his bowling career the most.
Well, actually, it's been more than one person. It's been a few, Bo. It's Dick Ridker's outlook on the mental aspect of the game's helped me a lot. My father stressing the fundamentals to me at an early age. Even though it doesn't look like it because I'm pretty even-keeled out there, Marshall Holman's intensity and aggressiveness has probably helped me out a little bit. And John Jowdy, my long-time friend and coach out here, his theories to the game have helped me out a lot, and hopefully they can help me out today.
Well, that's a winning team if there ever was one for Dave Husted. Okay, 31-pin lead now for Dave Husted as a result of a double. We'll have more of the semifinal game after this.
Oh, hi. I'm Randy Peterson, and I just made this stop to tell you about our next stop. It's the PBA National Championship, next Saturday on ABC Sports Pro Bowlers Tour.
Next Saturday, the big one. But today, David Husted now up, leading by 34 while we're away. His opponent, Joe Firpo, covered 3-6-10 for a spare in the 7th, then struck in the 8th. Three-bagger. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the grand finale of the Jeep Superstars from Cancun, Mexico. Stars, Herschel Walker, Barry Sanders, Kelly Gruber, among the top 10 elite going for the big first prize. Big first prize here today is $30,000.
Husted 9th frame can slam the door on Firpo.
All right. Also on Wide World today, a special preview for the World League of American Football. Also a taped interview with Bo Jackson's orthopedic surgeon, Dr. James Andrews.
That was a real shame that Husted left that solid 8. And speaking of Bo Jackson, a real shame of one of the great athletes. You hope he comes back. But for Husted, conversion here in the 8th, in the 9th frame, a spare in the 10th, and he'd have the match locked up. He'd go against Norm Duke.
And he's making the quality shots throughout the whole match. That's 9 straight shots right in the pocket, showing the shot-making ability that Dave Husted has.
Well, Marshall, remember when he won the U.S. Open down in Houston, and when he gets hot and really has confidence in his game and keeps that arm swing free, he bowls as well as anybody out here. Remember, he's 8th all-time money winner, closing in on $1 million. So Firpo has his hands full. He must strike right here to have any chance.
Well, Marshall, you've had some great matches with Dave over the years.
Yes, I have. I think, and for the most part, Dave's gotten the better of me. Maybe that's why I have so much respect for him. He beat me in Sarasota last year in a roll-off in Las Vegas, but he's looking really good right now, and I think Norm Duke's going to have a real tussle on his hands.
Well, Yogi Berra from St. Louis said it's not over till it's over. And if Joe Firpo strikes in the next 2 balls, David Husted does not have a lock.
There's one.
You know, he's made an interesting move here, Firpo, at the end, Marshall. He's moved to the deep inside line instead of playing that big hook, and that's where Husted's been playing. That's where Duke's been playing. So Firpo, win or lose this match, has gained some experience.
Absolutely.
Ah, yes. Stephanie Barr, his fiancée. That's tension.
Firpo must strike on this ball to have any chance. He would force Dave Husted to mark.
Well, it looks like I called it a little prematurely. This match certainly isn't over, and Joe Firpo's making a great match out of it, and forces Dave Husted to get up in the 10th frame and make a good shot and, you know, make the spare and hold count.
Perspiration.
Pressure, that's what he talked about in his pregame interview. Plus, it's pretty warm here in Cleveland today, I venture to say. The mid-60s, spring-like weather has an effect on the forehead.
Joe Firpo of Lake Worth, Florida, has strung 5 at the end with a 215.
All right, he's put the pressure on Husted. Husted, strike or 9 on the first ball, he wins. Anything less, he must spare. Winner.
All right.
Just fantastic. I mean, he's got 2 solid 8s in a row, and the man bowled a great game.
Even if he misses the 8-pin, he will have 216, a 1-pin victory over Joe Firpo, who did bowl very well. In the finals, it's going to be David Husted against one of the hottest players I've ever seen on a 1-week basis, Norm Duke.
Ever Firpo had bowled at 215, and Dave will be in the 220s. ABC Sports Presentation Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.